Hey there. This is going to be a fun episode. Wrote, I don't know how many books, but like 20 with me today. And I'm going to share my thoughts about these books with you and help you figure out what to read next to unlock your next level. But I know that if I start rambling about 20 books now, you might never get to the end of the list because you have other things to do. So what I have, oh my God. So what I've done is I actually created a fun quiz for you, which based on where you are in your life, in your business, is going to help you identify the two books that you should read next. And in case you have read them already, you cannot then come to this complete list of books and select something new. But probably if you've read them already, they are not the ones that are coming out of the quiz for you. So I put together the quiz based on different levels in business, or maybe not even levels, but there's a certain path we are all taking, we are all going through. And yes, there are specific stations in that path, on the entrepreneurial path and also in life. I would like to help you identify your next read that unlocks your next level. And if you want to do the quiz, just click the link below, but it's also easily available at esthergodor.com/books. They're not my books. I haven't written a book yet. There are other people's books I loved and other people's books that changed my life without a single doubt. This is the Leap, Live, and Lemonade podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Esther Godor. 12 years ago, I took a big leap. I left my corporate job. I moved into a new country and started a business from scratch in my fifth language. Today, I run a boutique launch and systems agency, helping ambitious entrepreneurs build smart and scalable digital businesses on Kajabi without having to do everything by themselves. This is your go-to place with honest stories, actionable strategies, and real talk around building a business and life you love. Your best life and success story are still ahead. Let's write them together. So let's start with some old ones. These are not necessarily ones you would want to be reading now, but I got a little nostalgic as I looked at my bookshelves. And by the way, there are hundreds of business books in this house. I didn't even realize we collected this many together with Javi. But these were the two very first ones I read. One is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And when I read this, I also did his course, still with my old employer in the US. So I actually traveled to the US to do this course, I think in 2000 or something like that. The principles in this book are still super valid. So if one day you want to read something that is not like super current from today's world, but works with those that don't just fade away, that still apply to life and business, this one is a great one. And if you see this one, it got totally wet once when my English school got flooded because we had, I don't know what happened, something on the upper floor, but the whole school got flooded and so many books were damaged, destroyed. And this one I still kept because it's really close to my heart. When I read this one, I still wasn't thinking of actually running a business. I went to the course as a manager, so I'm a good leader of teams at the company. So I looked at this with a very different focus than I would now. And the very first business book I ever read was this one. This actually also got wet at that moment, but I still kept it. This wasn't damaged as much as the other. It's from Richard Branson, The Virgin Way. And to be honest about this one, when I read it, I was at the beach. This is like 2010, maybe 2011. Me at the beach in Spain, very much thinking of moving to Spain, but still not having everything clear. And that was the first moment when I was like, okay, if I move, I'm not going to be an employee ever again. I'm gonna run my own business. And I remember he talks about branding here and all kinds of stuff. And it couldn't have been further away from where I was. Like, this book is definitely not the one I would use as a practical guide for a new entrepreneur. This is for dreaming. Okay. It was perfect for figuring out the name of my business. I think I got the inspiration from this book for the name of my business. My first business here in Spain was called Ascertainment, which is, yeah, it comes from the words Esther and entertainment. In Spain, people, or at least here in Granada, most people don't speak very well English, so they didn't really get the word game that I was trying to do there. Plus, my name is written with an SZ, like ESZTER or ESZTER. It just doesn't make sense to Spanish people. And then putting it together with entertainment and coming up with the word ascertainment, I I would have thought it was totally crazy, but then reading this book encouraged me to actually go with it. And you know what? First, nobody understood it. It was nobody connected with it, but that business actually we renamed it to Kids Online English in 2020, 2021. So that's 5, 6 years ago. It got a new name, and it was still running for another good while. If I meet someone on the street, like the kids that learned at that school, or parents or previous teachers that worked at that school, they still refer to it as ascertainment. So the message in the end did go through with the silly name. So it was worth it, but there were times when it was really difficult, especially when you try to get something done, like paperwork, admin here in Spain, and you try to spell that name to someone on the phone, or set up a domain and try to use it and spell it out for people on the phone. Those were not my best moments. Okay, now fast forward to the very last one I'm reading, the most recent one I'm reading. That is actually Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And this is for when I have to define who this is for. I think I did start this book earlier in the process, but what I feel is now is the right moment, as I feel I have a great level of knowing what works for me, what doesn't. And I'm very much at a phase where I'm refining and fine tuning whatever is here in my head to make my business truly support my life. So this is, for me, it's in the phase where I'm fine tuning and taking it to the next level, and not necessarily when you're starting out. Okay, let's go still back to older days. I brought two that are super fun, and if I didn't read them, I don't think I would have ever made it to the place where I am, with how I think about money. And these are two books from Dennis Duffield Thomas. One is called Get Rich Lucky Bitch, and the other one is Chill and Prosper. And if you haven't read anything from her yet, I would say go with Get Rich Lucky Bitch. And what this book shifted is everything. From, like, the first thing I did when I read this book was finally swapping my old underwear to new sexy underwear in a moment when I was totally short on money, but just doing that thing just put me into a whole different place, where I got new energies. This book was the one that helped us, even when we lived in a home that was not necessarily our favorite, to make it really cozy, the place that we loved, even without spending a lot of money. It helped me it helped me trust. It helped me re um rewrite stories in my head. It helped me disconnect from any previous money stories that don't serve me today. It helped me manage other people's money blocks or money stories that might affect me. Amazing. And if you think you don't have money blocks, then it's especially important that you read this, because I got through tons of it, and it's new level, new devil. It's a constant process of working. It's not something that you just do once and you're done. So this to everybody who hasn't read it, and if you are not a woman, still lucky bitch. All right. What's next? Oh, this is amazing. I love Mo Gaudat. I hope pronouncing his name well, but Mo, definitely Mo. He has been featured on the Diary of the CEO various times. He used to be the former chief business officer. He is the former chief business officer of Google X, which is the department at Google that's responsible for new developments. Mo has a truly inspiring personal family story that really deeply affected me, and he shares how to find your happiness even in places, spaces, and times when it makes zero sense to be happy. It makes zero sense to keep going. And yeah, very much worth the read if you ever feel that you find it difficult to get through some times in your life. Amazing book. Yeah, now I'm just thinking of everything it gave me. Truly a super inspiring read. And do listen to him on the Diary of the CEO. I think he was invited twice, definitely, maybe even 3 times, and all the interviews are gold. Now, another author that I have here with 2 books is Eckhart Tolle. These are in Spanish actually, but I read them in English as well. Okay, I'm just realizing some of you will only listen, so I just shouldn't say this. I should refer to it should with the title. So the previous one was Solve for Happy from Mo, but I'm gonna put links into under this video. So here is The Power of Now and New Earth from Eckhart Tolle. And for me, for some reason, the New Earth connected better. The Power of Now was a really good start for me to understand where he's coming from and to get an idea on his world. But the New Earth is where I was truly able to apply his principles in my own life. So either one, but for me, New Earth is what really worked out well. And both books are about managing your thoughts that are constantly either in the past or in the future. Like, I should be picking up my kids, I should be recording those episodes, I need to send the money to whoever I'm owing, or I need to send out that reminder, or thinking of past stories like what my mother did to me, what my husband did to me, or how nice it was 20 years ago and why now we are not living in that world. But we spend too little time in the actual moment. And this is why Power of Now, and how to actually seize the moment and make the most of it, because we are writing our future right now. And if right now we are not in the moment, we are not writing the future that we are actually desiring. Whenever I read these books, I read The New Earth 3 times. I have them in audiobook, and sometimes I just walk around during various days listening to that book. And I always wish, oh my God, could they just be looping in my head on a forever repeat and forever remind me? Because whenever I read them, it just all feels like it all makes sense, but it's so easy to lose that connection. So yeah, I wish I had the new earth on loop repeat in my head. But there are so many other things in my head that are going on that it's not possible. Okay, now there are two books here that I read a while ago. I would say that after the old business books like the Richard Branson one and the other one of the first ones I read was Launch from Jeff Walker. There is a new edition now. This wasn't the first edition. This was a newer one, but there's even a more recent one. So it's Launch from Jeff Walker. And then there is another one from Russell Brunson, founder of ClickFunnels, Expert Secrets. These two are perfect if you are new in running an online business and you are not so sure what to do besides showing up on social media. Jeff outlines the process of how to actually generate or enter the conversation in your potential client's mind and connect with them in a way that first they listen to you, and then if it's a right match, they actually convert into a paying client. His work is so important. He's called the godfather of online businesses, and he basically, whoever you learn from, like I've learned from many coaches since I actually did his program, Product Launch Formula in 2018. Whoever I learned from, everybody's teachings are based on his original formula when it comes to running an online business, organizing launches, whether they are live launches, whether they are evergreen launches. It's all in this book. Phenomenal. And the other book, Expert Secrets, this book is specifically for running webinars that convert. And it details out, I think, 89 slides for webinars, but it doesn't matter. It's not the slides. It's how you format your messaging in a way that it actually connects with people, how to have people like sometimes when I talk to people and say, let's run a 90-minute webinar, they are like, what the hell can I talk about for 90 minutes? And how the hell am I going to be able to keep people's attention for 90 minutes? This formula is one of the formulas, one of the foundations of how that can actually be done. There is a lot more in this world, but if you are new to this world and you want to run master classes, webinars, build funnels, product launches, launch your course, your membership, anything that you are about to put out there into the world, Expert Secrets is your book. All right, now let's talk a little bit about something very different. And this is, I just found a card from Denise when I joined her money boot camp. Yeah, it's like, first I read a book, and then if I love it, then probably I join the person's program. So I did join money boot camp. So this is a card from Denise from when I joined. That was in 2019, I think. But the next two books I want to talk about, or the next one is The Big Leap. I read this one when I moved to Spain. So at the same time, more or less, or even before the launch book, this book is a must read. If you haven't read this, I would say read it before you read any of the others, because it's about how to start doing in your life only the things that you are the best at and you love doing. And stop doing anything else. Things you are not great at, things you are good at, but you don't love doing them. This book then is for you. And it's also super helpful when you are hesitant on what your next step should be in your life, whether it's private life or business. This book will give you the certainty on what direction to take and how to trust your intuition, and then how to go about that change in your life so it's sustainable and day to day, how to make sure that you actually enjoy your day to day. It's just amazing. Yeah, even if you're not thinking of running a business ever, read it. Another one I have here is The Code of the Extraordinary Mind from Vishen Lakhiani. He's the founder of Mind Valley. And I've read a couple of books from Vishen, but this is the one that made the most impact on me. And it's for you if you are ready to leave behind any expectations society puts on you, any expectations your family sets for you, any expectations that you might have set for yourself, but you feel like they might not be the right ones. And also if you want to build an amazing company, community, movement with an incredible team, this book is where it all starts. I don't think I'm the same person who I was before reading this book. Amazing read. Oh my God, am I saying the same thing about all of them? I literally think that they shaped me into a different person, each one of them, when reading them. Now I want to touch a little bit on health because, I've been on a health journey for the last 2-3 years. And what helped me the most on this health journey is Fast Like a Girl from Dr. Mindy Peltz. I'm not exactly following everything in this book anymore, but this was the first step for me on figuring out a life in a body which is ready to take me where I'm to the place I'm dreaming of being at. Because my previous body I was in, my mind was flying way faster than my body was able to keep up with. And I mean literally, like I wanted to do 10 times as many things as I was able to do back then. And today I'm able to do them. Or I just wanted to feel like when I'm walking on the street, the flesh on my bones is not flying after me, behind me, but is actually coming with me in that moment. It's crazy. Like Javi never understands when I describe this because he's this skinny, but if you ever had excess weight on your body, you understand this, that you're moving and then the flesh or the fat or whatever comes after you. It's not all about weight loss, although to me it was really crucial that I lost and reorganized some weight in my body, especially that I have knee problems. And whenever your body has to carry excess weight, that always puts extra burden on your knees. So to me, Fast Like a Girl helped me understand my body better, understand my cycle better. And then I have another one here, which we also covered in a recent podcast episode. It's Cycle Sync Your Business by Renee Fick. It's crazy how we get to the age of 40, 45, and we don't know much about our cycles and we don't adapt our lifestyle to our cycles, or at least I haven't. And so many people who I know haven't. And when you finally figure it out, life becomes so much easier, and living with you for others becomes so much easier. So that one is key. Here's the last one that made a huge impact on me. This is from Dan Sullivan. There are so many books from Dan Sullivan that you could read, but this one, and he actually wrote it with Dr. Benjamin Hardy, who's also the author of other books together with Dan Sullivan. And I think he is also the author of Be Your Future Self Now. The book that also includes the story of Mr. Beast and how he became the most followed YouTuber on the planet and stuff like that. But this book is all about, it's called 10x is easier than 2x. And it's all about how it's easier to actually aim for Xing whatever you want to scale and grow rather than just trying to double it. And to me, the biggest learning from this book is less is more. And many times the 10x thing doesn't come from, or almost never, it never comes from doing more. It comes from understanding the bottlenecks, understanding what the core of your business, your life is, what the little pieces in your machine are that you need to trigger in order to be able to scale way faster. I'm still working on it, on my 10x thing, but last year, the whole last year, I was applying these principles, and it made my business run smooth, and it made my life be smooth. First time ever since I since I've been in business, which is since 2013. So it helped me soften after a decade of hustling. That's what it did for me, and it helped me understand whether something is truly a block and we shouldn't go to that direction, or whether something is just a stepping stone towards a bigger greatness, towards something that is getting us closer to our best self and getting us closer to building something in the world that truly creates impact and touches the lives of hundreds and thousands of people. All right. This was my book review. I tried not to go too long about either one of them. I truly trust that you found value in this episode. And again, if you want to do the quiz and just figure out which one you should be reading to unlock your next level from where you exactly are, then go to astergodo.com/books. And there you have the quiz. All right. Thank you so much for your time. And I see you in the next episode. Bye for now.